Okay, by now the stain is all dry and the last thing to do is to clean up the Wytch bottle. I just learned something a few minutes ago. Before, I have always used a Q-tip with a little bit of water to get that stain off. However, I learned that before when I was doing this, I was doing it before that stain had completely set. And a few minutes ago when I started giving it a shot, that stain wasn't going anywhere. So apparently this stuff doesn't mind sticking to glass. So I had to switch up from water if your stain sets completely. This has had about 48 hours to dry and harden. Beforehand, it was giving it maybe 8 to 10 hours, maybe 6 if I was really excited about the project, sometimes only 3 or 4. But if it has had a long time to set and the stain has had a long time to dry, you're going to need to swap up to some mineral spirits or check out whatever solvent is for your particular stain. Suffice to say, for me, I have switched to a mineral spirit solvent, and that has worked just fine for cleaning this up. Now, the only thing I have found also, though, is that the Q-tips, while wonderful with the not set stuff, are having a bit more of a struggle with the set stuff. So I may go switching from Q-tips to a little bit of a scrub brush, but also using the mineral spirit, but this is still cleaning the excess hardened stain right off. So whatever method you want to use, if your stain is not fully set, a Q-tip and water should do a great job at loosening up any extra bits and cleaning off your glass. If the stain is set, then you may have to look at a more potent solvent to get that cleaned up. And again, if you don't want it cleaned up, if you're happy with how it is and you like the somewhat dirty look it's got, fine, leave it. There's no problem with it whatsoever. And I guarantee you, if I get sick of doing this halfway through, I'm gonna leave it. So, here we go. Quick example of cleanliness. You may be able to see, if I can keep it centered, this section right here inside this loop has got a lot of brown gunkiness to it on the inside. I'm gonna hit this with the cleaning method and you should be able to see the contrast. The inside of that section is now a lot more clear and more light can spill through. But again, if you like the dirty effect, then keep it in there. There's absolutely no problem with it. Alright, I've gotten this thing cleaned up about as much as I cared to. The very last thing I went over was I went to each of my little red gems embedded in the project and gave them a final cleanup. There was still a little bit of mache paste and some stain on them, and I really don't want anything getting in the way of the light that they can produce. But this is pretty much your final Wytch bottle. Let's set this to transition colors and give it a quick 360 spin through. The only other thing I have discovered with this effect is that if you put the glycol antifreeze inside of it, it tends to come out a little bit foamier than if you just put boiled water and fabric softener inside. So I've got a little bit more of a bubbly, foamy consistency at the top. It is nigh on unnoticeable, quite frankly, but that's a Wytch bottle, folks, and its methodology can apply to many projects. Next one I'm going to be doing is known as, to me at least, as the Wytch orb, an example of which you can see glowing over here in the background. That's the next tutorial, and I'm going to have a whole series dedicated to this twisted and gnarled looking wood. And in about oh, 5 more days. The dollar store nearest me is going to have its Halloween stuff out, so I'm going to raid it and hopefully have another smaller, quicker, shorter segment on how to take bits of all sorts and attach them to the witch bottle to enhance, improve, and otherwise augment your look. Thanks very much for your time and attention. I hope your witch bottles look amazing.